What is up, everyone? We just got back from the May 2024 Pokemon TCG Highlander in-person monthly. It was a lot of fun. This was Stephen Elmore's last Pokemon TCG Highlander event while he still lived in Kansas City. Best wishes to his move to Nebraska, and best wishes to his future endeavors along with his girlfriend Audrey. That being said, let's get right to the matches. So round one is Jate versus Rahma Noodles. It's good to see both these players at it again on the circuit. Going to see Jate starting with Stantler and Carnivine versus Rahma Noodles, Emolga, Pachirisu, and Pikachu. Now, a quick synopsis of this is that Jate is playing a pretty funny lock deck that Sax helped him build leading into this tournament. You use Trevenant Break as fast as possible to spread 20 damage for 2 colorless energy while you trainer lock them, aka making them discard a trainer to play a trainer or else they can't. And then you run cards like Hyper Potion and Team Yell Towel to do a lot of burst healing to keep Trevenant Break healthy. We see the Floatstone on Stantler. Great execution by Jay on that opener, looking like he's trying to retreat Stantler ASAP. But he's kind of waiting. He's not getting the Trevenant Break play yet. We see Stormy Mountain from Rahma Noodles able to fetch a Lightning or Dragon Pokemon, put it onto his bench. He has Emolga. Looks like he used Stormy Mountains to grab... hopefully it wasn't Raichu. I don't know if he did an instant evolve, if he went first. That might have been a potential misplay. I'd have to ask them. Regardless, he does call for family for Zekrom and Plusle. Emolga has a 0 attack call for family, and it's pretty consistent. And Emolga also has a free retreat, so you can freely pivot out when you want to. We're seeing that right now. Raichu Break takes down Trevenant Break, which is able to wall break accordingly. Very strong attack to use in this type of matchup in general, because yes, Jay is running a kind of disruptive tank deck with spread, and Michael, aka Rahma Noodles, is running a very burst heavy mobile deck. We see Zekrom now. Zekrom is 100 HP. If you can't knock out Zekrom, he's going to hit right back with Outrage for 2 colorless energy, being even stronger than how much damage is on him. But we did see Carnivine pull up Zekrom, so this looks planned by Jate. Raichu breaks on the bench. We also see Manectric on Rahma Noodles' bench, able to protect his entire bench from damage except for Manectric. Togedemaru has an attack that flips a coin for every Pokemon in play except Togedemaru, and it does 30 damage if you flip heads, nothing if you flip tails. That's both sides, but if you have Manectric out, it protects your entire bench except for Manectric. But Rahma Noodles plays Bench Shield, which can help protect Manectric as well. Alright, so we see again Zekrom kind of holding his ground, but it looks like Rahma Noodles actually takes it. He's able to kind of overwhelm with pressure thanks to Raichu Break and Zekrom. Game 2, we got Stephen Elmore versus Rahma Noodles. Stephen Elmore is playing a deck he's been working on for quite some time now. It's an Arceus, Giratina, Jirachi deck that uses a lot of the Lost Zone. The Lost Zone is above his prizes by default in the game rules, and you can already see he's already kind of racked up the number here. Looks like he's already got 7, which is really strong. He can use Jirachi to get another Colress's Experiment. He actually talked about this in the post-tournament discussions that we were having, throughout the evening. And yeah, he was able to Jirachi, basically play 2 Colress's Experiment in a turn and play Lost Blender to get his counts going. Then he'll use Mirage Gate to attach basic energies to usually Regigigas or Arceus, both you can see there on the bench. We see Rampardos. Rampardos, and Steven clarifies, Rampardos is like an Omni wall breaker, kind of like in the competitive Smogon, and just in the video games in general, Rampardos is known to just kind of wall break. And in the TCG, he has a Pokebody that lets him bypass effects on the opponent, and that's like Defender, Special Metal, Stone Energy. Yeah, he gets past that, and he's basically the Pokebody saying, I'm doing my damage. But we see a Fighting Fury Belt on Rahma Noodles, so Zekrom actually has 120 HP, dealing a ton of damage with Outrage. Definitely ahead in the prize trades here right now. We see Steven promote Rampardos, though, trying to get rid of some problems. And yeah, Zekrom definitely was a problem. We see Lantern. Lantern's able to be an energy battery with his Poke Power, and he's also able to do pretty good spread damage as well with his first attack. We see a Lightning Energy looking like he's going for the second attack, able to deal some pretty good damage for sure. And Steven's kind of like looking at his bench. We see the Basculegion, which is a great revenge killer Pokemon. We see the Twins, which, great synergy. So there is a Klefki attached to Basculegion. Klefki says you can attach Klefki to one of your Pokemon, give your opponent a prize, and Klefki grants 20 more HP and attack for that Pokemon. So you kind of combo that well with Twins. Now, Rahma Noodles was already ahead in the prize trade, but this is as early as turn 1. You can Klefki, use his power, and then use Twins because now you're behind in prizes. We see Regigigas, he's ready to swing. Crush Grip is going to do a lot of damage. The only way for Crush Grip to do less is, well, slow start, but those counters are gone, and if the opponent already had damage counters on them. So, Giratina has a really cool spread attack, but in this case it might actually be a bit counterintuitive because Overslash would actually hinder the damage on Crush Grip by a lot. We see Raichu doesn't look like... okay, it looks like Rahma Noodles gets a little bit of his combo. With Pichu, if you evolve through Pichu in the evolution line, you actually get to do 2 attacks when you evolve into Raichu. Pichu can also move a bunch of lightning energy to your active Pokemon. In this case, it was Raichu, so it's very helpful there. We see Boltund, which says... basically, Boltund is able to just knock out a bunch of basic Pokemon. There's certain criteria that needs to be met, but Boltund can be a great check to Regigigas, but we saw there that Steven was able to pivot back into Rampardos and get a knockout. Game 3 is Steven Elmore versus Jaytno. Steven gets a great Jirachi start. As you can see, his Lost Zone is already piling up there, and Jay is able to kind of go for the bench. In terms of a Tropius and Trevenant setup, he is going second, so he gets the 2 Grass Energy. Also, before I mentioned, Boltund actually knocks out EXs, not basics, but in that case, Regigigas was a basic. It's just that Steven was smart and he didn't do something like level up to Regigigas level X, which could have had Boltund knock him out. And so anyway, into this game, right there, you see the Klefki play into Regigigas and then playing Twins right after. Able to stockpile his Lost Zone to get that count for Mirage Gate, and he does one of the debut of Doom Desire from what I've witnessed in competitive Highlander. He is definitely the first player I've seen to use Jirachi's Doom Desire, and in a great situation here. Basically, if Trevenant didn't get out of the active spot, he was going to get knocked out, which is great pressure. Steven will tell you that this first turn, you can kind of check with his discard over there in the bottom right. He had to discard a lot of trainer cards for his first turn because, well, in his turn going into when Trevenant was out. So yeah, that was big. He had to be careful there, and definitely showing the power of Trevenant against a deck like Steven's that uses quite a decent amount of trainer cards to get momentum going ASAP. We see Jirachi level X, which gets stronger for every card in the Lost Zone for his attack, and if you get a knockout, you can grab 2 of any cards in your discard pile and put them into your hand. Looking like Basculegion is promoted. There is Trevenant Break, able to deal some pretty good damage with Wood Blast, Tree Slam, or Silent Fear. Basculegion and Rampardos are kind of just both Swiss Army knife problem solvers for Steven. They both only need 1 energy to do a lot of damage, and they're just able to solve a decent amount of problems if Steven needs to swing momentum back. We do see Regigigas fully loaded on the bench. Here he comes, and with a Klefki, but Trevenant Break lives because of resistance. We see the Team Yell Towel healing 50 from Trevenant, and technically Regigigas, but Regigigas did not have 50 damage, so definitely a huge net benefit for Jate there. We see the, nice use of, going for his resources. Also note the Alcremie on the bench. Alcremie says all supporters turn into the effect of draw 2 cards for both players. So what that means is that if you get out Trevenant and Alcremie ASAP, you're kind of doing this kind of a lock trainer, for trainers and supporters. It definitely is a stun to both, which can really stun resource fetching. And it's been pretty effective for Jate against Stevens. Jate, has the prize. He's winning the prize trade right now. And we see Giant Stump, able to hinder Jate's bench a bit. We see Durant on the bench and Volbeat. Volbeat's able to cycle supporters on top of the deck, and then if Jate wants to grab like a Guzma / Lysander or Cynthia, it's going to get lost zone by Let Loose potentially. So great control by Steven there. And then we see the Durant able to use pull out and grab any card he wants from the discard pile, and he'll have shuffle armor, or he'll grant shuffle armor to the card, which means that that card's not going to get shuffled in by cards like Ann and Judge and Iono. We see Arceus, Temple of Sinnoh. Okay, nice. You know, Steven's bringing his own kind of lockdown here, and even bench sniping with Sky Spear is its own form of blocking if you can turn off the opponent's strategy that they're aiming for. We see active Heracross and Carnivine on the bench. Now, Heracross takes 20 less from basic Pokemon, but he is weak to colorless, so you have to watch out there. Carnivine could pull up Giratina, which could be very big here, and Giratina's Let Loose wouldn't be able to work, and he has a pretty high retreat cost, so Steven might have to opt into Giratina level X or Overslash, but he was actually able to make a comeback there and win the game. Thanks again to all our competitors. We had quite a few people that haven't showed up in a while, that did show up. Jate, Rahma Noodles, Lasagna. And then this is Steven's last tournament while he's in Kansas City. Again, he's been working on this deck for quite some time, and to kind of see him really dial this up is awesome. He actually said he was inspired by the Dialga V-Star deck that won the Indianapolis Regionals, and he said that the momentum of that deck inspired him to really kind of cut some corners in his deck. Before, his deck had a lot of great options in terms of techs and just matchups in general, but he was telling me at the tournament that, and I witnessed it, you can see it right here with the list, he wanted to streamline more into his core ideas, and yeah, he definitely added Lost Splendor. He max counted his Nest Ball and Level Ball counts, so I mean, good to him. And yeah, the double twins with Klefki, that was awesome. So Steven, you've been a player since 2016 in the Highlander community, and it's sad to see you go, but I know this is for a good life, for you and Audrey, and again, I hope you the best. And I know you said you plan to come back soon, and we're looking forward to it. See you guys around. Have a good one.